$1 million studios, Chris Speez, and I'm lost because, Doc, are you not hearing me now? Can you hear me okay?
It just came in. We're good.
Okay. The Doc can hear me. Say that one more time, Doc. I can hear you. And we're having all kinds of technical difficulties here, folks, but we're here, Speez and the Benchmark Show, without the benchmark, on a Wednesday night, August the 21st, 2019. Trying to figure out what the hell's going on with OBS and Skype and everything else. They keep changing shit on us, and who the hell knows what's happening. But we're here, and joining me all the way from across the HUGENVERSE, the man himself. He's all over Twitter, Twitch, anywhere else you want to be, at Dr. Huge Show. You know him, you love him, the great Dr. Huge. Dr. Huge.
Oh! Thanks for having me on.
Glad to have you here, sir. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, how you doing, man? You doing all right?
Doing great. We got a show popping off on all formats over here on podcasts and live streams, and I'm playing video games with the audience. I'm having a good old time.
That is outstanding. And I see everybody filing into the chat. First of all, I gotta apologize because I'm doing this Texans show now, right? This Houston Texans show. And so when I change things around in OBS, it resets everything every time. So I think we just broadcast the first half of this wrestling show to a bunch of people who follow me expecting to see shit about the Texans. So they're probably watching all this going, what the fuck is this guy talking about? So apologies for that.
I'm telling you, the most shocking thing is you're doing a show about the Texans.
So don't start with me.
You're doing a show about the Patriots.
Yeah, well, I know you being the Patriots guy. That's just the way it's going to go. Shout out to you, Mac Diesel, Jeffrey Cross, Bill. All you guys, Mr. AEW's on the line, Brian's on the line. Good to have you guys file.
I know those guys.
Yeah,
I know all those guys.
Well, we got to remind everybody. So for those of you who are regulars here on the show, you might know this. But those of you who haven't been with us since the jump might not know that part of the reason that the overwhelming majority of you even know who the fuck me and Silky are is because of the gentleman on screen right now, Dr. Huge. Dr. Huge was the first guy to have me on his program. He's making careers here is what he's doing.
I'm seen by Triple H. That's how I promote myself. Number one thing. Been tipped by Eric Bischoff.
There you go. That's exactly right. So, no, man, it's always great to have you here. I had you here last time, and we had the old Mac computer, and there was like this huge delay and everything like that. And this time I got all the equipment up to speed, and it's just me fucking up my one job as I normally do. So, but here we are.
Same here. I had the laptop. Remember, we couldn't even get the video going. You had to get a video of me through a webcam onto my green screen, in the actual green screen. Like, it wasn't like any cool stuff like you see behind you today.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You and us both growing up is what we're doing. Growing up right in front of your eyes here, folks.
Hard. I'll tell you what, Speez, and to all the donators and people that support Speez, like, shout out to all these people. I know, like, maybe he says it and everybody does for their supporters, but it's not said enough, especially for mine and everybody else. Like, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing this for more than a month, because, like, if we can't at least take some of the edge off of the bills that just the time consumingness of what we just went through for the past hour, that horse shit, and then the equipment, and then that failing and whatever, and then the overtime. We're making $0.0 at this negative.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, you're
so
totally
it's
losing
all
money.
Necessary. So that's why there's tip jars and all the rest. So
no, we are greatly appreciative of that, most definitely. And thanks to all you guys. Alistair Fiends here. Good to see you, sir. And the noob, Juanito, just joined in. Glad to have all you guys with us. So we're going to catch you guys up on Raw and SmackDown Live, what happened this week. King of the Ring tournament is off and running. Shane McMahon is still on my fucking television screen. We're going to talk about that. Can't get him off. And also, it's a Wednesday, so that means the Benchmark Power Rankings, top 5 wrestlers of the week this week, brought to you by the Doc himself. So you'll be looking forward to that as well. So first things first, Doc, I know you gotten into the Twitch thing lately. You've been doing a lot of gaming shit online and everything like that. The first time we had you on, you were just doing wrestling shows with the gang. But now you got into gaming and everything like that. So tell the folks where and when they can check you out. You got the regular schedule now down with your gaming and such?
Not really. I just do it when I want. And people have asked me, like, why don't you get a schedule and you do this? I could do that, if I was like more professional and, ambitious about that, right? Like playing video games. It's still, I'm an older guy as well. It's weird that I'm sitting down playing my video games and people want to like see it and interact, but they do. And I think that I've actually had a lot of quality content come out of it as of late. So I think eventually I'm going to edit down my videos, and then eventually I'll come up with a schedule. Right now, I'm kind of refocusing on the wrestling, since we have a change coming again with Monday Night Raw still going to be in the same place. We're going to have Wednesday going to be full of wrestling with NXT and AEW, and then Friday is going to have SmackDown move to it. So that's going to rock all our world, Speed. So I'm kind of prepping for that and sprinkling in the video game stuff, but it's doing well. And I've actually brought a lot of people back to wrestling because they're like, what are you known for? Like, who? They just think I'm just some guy out here. I'm a superstar in the wrestling quitter. Okay. And the Twitch people are starting to figure this out. So maybe we'll make some headway there in the future.
That sounds good. Well, yeah, man. I mean, I always dig. It's a grind, man. And it's tough trying to explain to people because I know when I got into this and I was looking at the gaming guys in particular, like when we moved over to Twitch, and you start looking at the amount of money that these guys are drawing in just from tips and all the donations and all that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. But at the same time, it is a fucking job. Like, it's a job, dude. It's not just like, yeah, you just plug in your fucking camera and go with it. Like, I mean, you can. There's people that do that. But if you wanted to look and sound and act like you wanted to, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into it. So I've certainly gained a much bigger appreciation for that as I've gone on.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I started out I do this pretty much every day. I at least try to do at least 1 hour live stream of something a day. And sometimes you'll get 8 hours of gaming. It just depends on what I want to do, because I think that one of the number one things you can do in business, not even just this type of thing, just in business in general, is just being authentic. If people can rely on you and know that you're going to be there to provide any kind of service, whatever it is, just BSing about wrestling, then you become a value. And that goes for anything. But the thing is, it's like you said, it's being persistent. And there's a lot of people that, they jump into this. Oh, Dr. Huge, I'm going to be a podcaster. I came on your show once. I'm going to fucking podcast now. Oh, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll do it for a couple days and you're going to go, this is stupid. And now I'm like, a couple thousand in the hole if you even want to do it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Silky and I just came up early July was a year. And, man, I just look back at how much things have changed over a year and how much stuff. And it's not just us changing. Just to keep up with, like we talked about Skype. Skype changed all their shit to where it was a piece of cake 5 minutes ago, and now it's a fucking major pain in the ass to try to figure. You got to keep up on it with all the technology and all that shit too. So, it's crazy.
I'm loving this. I love coming on this show and not having to do anything except talk.
That's what Doc said. He's like, I was apologizing because I was finishing up some graphics at the last minute. He's like, no, man, I'm digging it. I just got to sit here, man, so it's fine. So... yeah, I'm with you, Jody Mania. I know there's a lot of people that without Dr. Huge, you wouldn't know who the hell I am. So always grateful to the Doc for having us on. So let's get into some wrestling, Doc. We got the King of the Ring kicking off this week. And a couple of winners. First round match, you had Samoa Joe and Cesaro. I kind of wish we would have seen these guys later on, just because they're both really good. It was kind of a bummer that they ended up meeting in the first round. But Samoa Joe gets the win there. Looking at the Raw side of things, then we also had Cedric Alexander beating Sami Zayn. I watched your Raw prediction show, or your Raw pre-show on Monday. But, Sleaze and Y2 Just Incredible without the E were there. So, as far as all in all predictions, I don't remember if you actually predicted what you thought might happen in the King of the Ring. Do you have a prediction who you think's going to win this thing?
I think Justin tried, and I shut it down because he was going to, bore the shit out of everybody again. And I was like, I just couldn't have it. But anyway, we do have predictions. I just wanted some winners, And the winners I have are McIntyre. I have two winners, really, McIntyre and Andrade. I could see Andrade losing and then pulling him back into a thing with Rey Mysterio and his son. I hear WWE might want the son to start wrestling, so maybe something will come out of that. But I like the idea of making him the King of the Ring, because then you'll have King and Queen of the Ring. Get it? With Charlotte Flair already pointing at the chair and everything last night when she came out on the Bliss show. So that's why I like that. McIntyre seems almost too easy. Like even the announcers are saying, "Oh, my pick's McIntyre." It's like, well, of course, he's like probably one of the biggest guys in the competition. The Rock is even like, yeah, he's going to be the next big thing and all this. So if he became that, nobody's going to be shocked. And then Cesaro, I had him as just a guy I wanted for myself, but I pretty much knew there wasn't even a good chance he would get out of the first round, and I was right.
Yeah, exactly. I actually, when I went, who was I talking to last week? I think I want to say I was talking to Tony from Get the Tables, maybe it was. So I ended up going with my Raw guy was Samoa Joe. I picked Samoa Joe there.
That bastard, you call him Sloppy Joe.
How do you keep track of who's on Raw and SmackDown anymore? I can't.
Well, luckily I had like I do right now over sitting on the screen here. I got the bracket sitting up in front of me.
Yeah.
So it was easier to follow it that way.
Cheat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I actually had Samoa Joe. No, am I lying to you? Who did I have? No, I take that back. I had Ricochet winning. I had Ricochet over Andrade in the final was the guy that I had.
Okay.
Because of the whole King Ricochet thing, I thought it'd be an easy transition for those guys.
But you see them making a King. Have we ever had a small King of the Ring other than Jerry the King, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been... Well, you had Brett and Owen, and you had Viscera, who was ginormous. Stone Cold, big guy.
Ricochet.
Yeah, I don't know. Ricochet seems to be one of the few guys that they kind of... Well, the few recent guys, anyway, that they got behind right after he came up from NXT. I mean, it seemed like they like that guy. And
sorry.
No, I was just going to say, it's funny to me because he doesn't strike me as a Vince kind of guy.
Mm.
And yet, they seem to love them some Ricochet. I mean, they were getting tag title shots all the time, him and Aleister Black, and Aleister Black is fucking gone now. I mean, he's still around waiting for people to come knock on his door or whatever. But they love them some Ricochet.
They disrespect those tag titles on Raw so much. Like, that's probably why they did it. They're like, yeah, give it a shot on those tag titles, Aleister and Ricochet, being the first times on Raw. Because who cares about those belts?
Yeah. Lots of people are thinking Baron Corbin is going to be King of the Ring, says Jody Mania. That's because Corbin wins everything else, and it would... They seem to just troll people with Baron Corbin.
Did he win he won the Andre, right?
He won the Andre, yeah.
Wow. Money in the Bank.
He's won the Andre. He's won the Money in the Bank. I'm waiting for him to win the Royal Rumble just so people will go completely insane.
He's had the U.S. belt. I know that.
U.S. and didn't he get the Intercontinental at one point? Did he beat? Has he gotten the Intercontinental? I can't remember. I know he was feuding with Ambrose.
I don't think he's had IC.
Okay, because I know him and Ambrose was the pre-show Intercontinental match on. Intercontinental title match on WrestleMania a few years back, which was I don't know.
It's John Moxley, Speez. Come on.
What am I thinking? You been watching Mox at all outside of?
Yeah, I've seen a few things by him. I don't dislike him or I have nothing against him. I just think he's already kind of worn off, hasn't he? In a way. I mean, he is overseas right now. He's been across the world. I mean, he's pretty damn hot. I guess we'll see when AEW starts up between him and Jericho and Omega and all this. Do you have anything on that? What's your take on this whole war going on, Speez?
It seems like it's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of AEW guys seem to be shooting arrows over this way. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why Seth Rollins is bothering getting in the middle of it. It's funny to me to see how far that guy's fallen because everybody and their mother was talking about Seth Rollins. He was just the fucking internet darling.
Me too. I loved him. Yep.
And people just shit on that guy now. Like they're tired of his shit. They all are. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people are.
I blame the man.
That certainly didn't help. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. To me, it's kind of a shrewd move by WWE to get NXT onto USA. Like that's pretty big.
2 hours.
Yeah,
it's a real show now.
And I dig that it's live. That was my big bitch about NXT. That's one of the reasons I didn't watch NXT because it was almost impossible for me to avoid the shit getting spoiled ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have as much of a love affair with the NXT. I mean, you've talked about it on your show. There's so much wrestling out there, man. Like, you have to dedicate so much fucking time just to keep up with everything.
Definitely. And we had Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke, Bobby Roode, all these guys, even Buddy Murphy right now, we'll be talking about later, I'm sure. And then, all the rest. It was like they were killing it a couple years ago. And now we got the Undisputed Era and all this stuff. And it seems like there's like just a new class of kids in high school that have just moved in. And I'm not really into it. I love Velveteen Dream. The jury's out with me and the Bro right now. I love the matches he's done. I don't have anything against any of the in-ring wrestling. It's just the overall scheme of it and the way it looks and the what it is just not like my taste. I like it a little more edgier, a little more like Kevin Owens looked a certain way. Sami Zayn has all these guys I talked about before, Finn Balor and all the rest. It's more than just like the Undisputed Era, 4 cool guys that can wrestle good. That's it.
It's the first time in a long time that it's felt like the minor leagues to me. You know what I mean? Like when Shinsuke and the guys you're talking about, Samoa Joe and Bobby Roode and all those guys were down there, Finn Balor, it didn't feel like the minor leagues. It felt like, okay, these guys, this is just a stop on the tour for these guys. They're fast tracking to the main roster. And not to say that you can't see some of these current guys on the main roster, but if we were sitting here a year from now and everybody in NXT currently was still in NXT, I don't think I'd be sitting here saying, it's total bullshit that they haven't moved that guy up yet. And not too long ago, I don't think you could say that. So many of those guys, it just felt like they were keeping them down there as long as they possibly could, and then they had to put them up because they were just they were that good.
I have nothing against small wrestlers. I like a lot of them. Everybody's like, well, what about Rey Mysterio? What about AJ Styles? I can give you a reason why about all them guys. A Lucha Mask. One guy's been around for 20 years. That everybody knows about. Daniel Bryan was like an MMA guy beforehand. So if you can kind of get on board with that, but then when you have a whole promotion where it's all guys under 6 foot, how do I believe and think that belt is going to be prestigious? It's not to me. It's going to be the high school kids because they're still going to look up to them as the cool kids and all this stuff. But I'm a grown ass man. I need some Lars Sullivan up in there, as stupid as that is. I need somebody that's going to look the part that he's going to kick some ass.
Yeah, and there's so few. I heard somebody, it was on a national sports talk radio, but it was a guy talking about it was talking about the MMA fights this past weekend, and he was talking about how it's the heavyweights that are generally speaking going to get people talking a lot of times. I mean, you're going to get your guys like your Conor McGregors and big time superstars like that, but a lot of times if you have a really good heavyweight, that's just fucking money in the bank. And he said it, and the guy could just as easily have been talking about wrestling. He says, when you get 2 guys in there who look like badasses and they look like they could just absolutely kick the shit out of any human being alive, and they're both in there to kick the shit out of each other, everybody and their mother wants to see that. And we've been preaching that shit about wrestling for years,
Goldberg. Just Goldberg alone. Why is he even back? And why'd they give him a second chance after Saudi Arabia and all the rest? I mean, to save face and sell more T-shirts and all that. But, it was he's a big guy. Do you really think, as great as Adam Cole is and all this, and Johnny Gargano and all the rest, is Johnny Gargano coming back at 52 years old to jump in a match? Maybe, and if he did, it would look funny as fuck. It looked like John Stockton, probably running in there doing some kind of code breaker or something. Very safe move.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
No, I don't think anybody wants to see that. Too many NXT guys brought up at one time, says Alistair Fiend. I agree with you, especially the women's division. It seems like their women's division has been struggling for a little while now, ever since Asuka left.
Yep.
And they didn't put the belt on Ember Moon.
Yep. Bad decision. She should have stayed.
Yeah, and then I love Shayna Baszler. I think Shayna Baszler's great. I know she's not for everybody. I think Shayna Baszler's great. But
awesome.
Shit, there's not really much beyond her, you know what I mean?
I do like Belair. I think she needs more work. In my professional doctor opinion.
Yeah.
I usually don't talk like this about wrestling as far as but we all see what's going on, right? I assume everybody else understands what I'm saying when I say these things. I'm not saying that she's a bad wrestler. How about this? I got blocked from Cody Rhodes like a year or two ago because I said maybe his wife Brandy should not go near 50 feet near a ring and stuff just because she's so green. And I'm not a wrestling expert in the ring or anything. I don't know how to tell you to put moves on, but I know what I'm seeing. And when she's in there, it looks rough. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So he didn't like that. So got the axe from AEW. They fired me.
That's another thing that they, when you talk about this wrestling war, those guys are very,
serious.
They're very sensitive.
Yep.
They fucking block me. I have more people saying, I got fucking blocked by the Young Bucks today. I didn't even say anything. One of the Young Bucks, each Young Buck has blocked one of my Twitter accounts. Matt blocked the Speez benchmark and Nick blocked my regular one, or vice versa. I can't remember. I don't even know what the fuck I said about those guys. Okay.
It's just they come by videos. How about this for a story? This is how I know. It's just so weird. So these wrestlers these days, they all have burner accounts and stuff. So they're watching things. And they can't show up with their fucking check marks in our videos and stuff. Even though that happens, they probably don't know they're doing it sometimes. But they do, I would say all of them have burner accounts. So they can be on social media and look and see what the marks are saying and all the rest.
Here comes the money.
Oh, shit.
That night, I remember scrolling through and seeing, I can't see this tweet from Sin Cara. What's this? And he blocked me. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, why? I've never written about him or anything on this platform. Oh, that's right. Periscope is connected to it, to Twitter. So he probably saw that and then instantly gave me the block.
Yeah, it was weird because we had gone up to, and thank you, Claire Casing, very much for the 500 bits there. Much appreciated. Claire's awesome. Claire comes on. She's great. I know she's a regular on your show. She stops by here every once in a while, and she's very generous. Love Claire. She's amazing. Silky and I had gone up to San Antonio for a Ring of Honor show when the Bucks and Cody were still there, and everybody was very kind. Shook hands with both the Bucks. Got to chat with them for a little bit. Was chatting with Scorpio Sky. He was a super great guy. And I went to tag all the guys on a Twitter post, just saying thanks and everything. And that was when I realized one of the Young Bucks had blocked me. And I was like, I don't even know what the fuck happened.
Wow, yeah, that's a rough way of finding out.
Yeah, exactly. I go to say thank you, and they're like, "No, fuck you. We're over you, Speez."
Wow.
Is Otis considered a heavyweight? Otis is considered a national treasure. Is what Otis is considered.
Super heavyweight.
Love
How about
Otis. He's so great. Shayna needs to lose a match once in a while, so it looks like the other girls can compete with her, says Bill.
There's no, like we said, there's no other girls though.
Yeah. That
can compete. So make her look insanely strong in the meantime, because what's your other play?
Pretty much. Was that, by the way, when the little Shane McMahon money thing started going, was that insanely loud for anybody else?
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
Okay, good. I turned it down because I'll figure this shit out eventually with my one job here. Let's get back to King of the Ring here. So we got Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre. That's another one that seems like, that's a really good first round match. Mm-hmm. But I guess since I'm picking Ricochet,
McIntyre losing the first round, Speez.
I know. If I would have known it was Ricochet and McIntyre in the first round, I probably wouldn't have picked either one of those guys.
You know what's going to happen? I already figured it out. Now I know what's going to happen. AJ Styles is AJ Styles? Yeah, AJ Styles is going to come out and mess with him. Does the OC still hate him, right?
I got to imagine that they do.
It's the time. And then McIntyre gets by Ricochet when Ricochet should have won.
That's going to piss me off. Right. And then we also got The Miz and Baron Corbin, a couple of guys that, I don't know. I have a feeling that match is going to get panned pretty bad. What do you think of Face Miz? Do you like Face Miz?
I tried for a little bit. I know he's got the show. It's kind of a thing where it's like, I have to be a good guy now. I have 2 kids, he's banging them out as he's a baby face. So, fits the name. I guess, I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much as I hate face Rollins, because heel Rollins is so good.
It's so good.
I know heel Miz is so good. Heel babyface Miz is still entertaining because he's still good on the mic and all the rest. Our babyface Rollins can come out and he can talk, and I don't care.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah, I'm with you. Heel Rollins definitely needs to come back. If he comes back 1 week with the blonde streak back, and I'd totally be a total mark for that. That'd be awesome. Ethan Page is Jody's guy. That works. Shane McMahon screwed Kevin Owens. I said it that's right. Alice did call that Shane McMahon would screw Kevin Owens. Let's get to that side of the King of the Ring here. So you had Elias over Kevin Owens in the first round, which is fucking stupid, but
I loved it. I love Shane McMahon.
I was just going to ask you that because I've been over Shane McMahon for a while. Are they dragging this shit out too long? The answer is yes, Doc, but are you tired of Shane McMahon yet? Are you still loving it?
The more upset the crowd gets, the more I usually like it. That's how that works.
The more it pisses off the marks.
I'm laughing along with all the people backstage because Shane McMahon and all them are laughing like, isn't this fucking ridiculous? Like, they hate my guts. I'm taking spots away from Buddy Murphy and stuff, right? All this, and it's just because it's a show and they want you to hate somebody that bad. And look how they did it so quickly. You know what I'm saying? This is the magicians, I tell you. That's why I love wrestling, and I just sit back and laugh at that type of stuff. So the more they just grind into it, the best in the world, and him screwing everybody, it's just going to make it that much sweeter when he goes down, which will probably be at Survivor Series. That's just my guess.
I think so.
With his Survivor Series team.
I thought for sure that it would be over at, what was it? Was it TLC? No, it wasn't TLC. TLC was a long time ago. What was the one that he just had the match against Kevin Owens again?
Yeah, we all thought it was going to end that Kevin Owens was going to quit if he lost.
And he kicked the shit out of Shane. It was at SummerSlam. What am I talking about?
SummerSlam.
Kicked the absolute shit out of Shane, and I'm like, okay, fine. We buried this motherfucker. We can move on. And no, he's still there. It's still going.
Yep, same thing with Orton and the Kofi Kingston.
The money.
But you think it's over. That should have been over right then, because that story came full circle for Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Thank you, Bill, very much for the bits there. And sorry for the, it being loud because, again, I got to figure the shit out.
Yeah. No
Seth Rollins with a blonde streak was weird, says no, Jody Mania. That was the money.
He had the WWE title and the US title. That's better than the Universal title and the Raw Tag title. Both them titles are stupid.
I agree. I totally agree. I thank God for the mute button every time Shane comes on, says Brian. Alistair Fiend says, Shane sucks, come at me.
I wish I had samples for you tonight. I'd be playing them.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't bring a loaded gun on the show,
Well, it happens. It happens. So Elias is going to move on to the winner of Ali and Buddy Murphy, which, again, is a great first-round matchup. A lot of people liking Ali to win this thing. I don't know. He's been cutting these high school, motivational videos and stuff like that. So
he definitely went backwards a little bit. I don't know if that's still there. Buddy Murphy's probably he's got to win, right?
So
unless something storyline wise happens again, somebody comes from backstage and screws him up or what have you. I don't know. Ali's got a chance.
Stranger things have happened. It's a good first round matchup for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Andrade beating Apollo Crews. They got almost 10 minutes the other night.
Yeah, that was obvious. That was just like when you seen Cedric Alexander come out. You knew he was going to beat Sami Zayn. Why would they have Sami Zayn beat Alexander at this point? Yeah.
And then your other first round matchup is Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, which is kind of a where the fuck did those two guys come from? But good for them for being in King of the Ring.
Yep.
I think that's just a who do we sacrifice to Andrade in the second round, because I don't see either of those guys beating Andrade in the second round.
And it'll most likely be Gable since he's the younger of the two. That's just a guess.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. Brian says Vince is too busy with the XFL and the Houston Roughnecks and the Dallas Renegades.
You like that name? You like the Roughnecks?
It's all right.
You going to be watching?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to watch it for sure.
Right.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go check out a couple games for sure. Just if nothing else for the sheer just so we can say that we did. Once it if it falls into oblivion and fails, which it quite probably will. Maybe if the streak was a little smaller, it would look better. Talking about the blonde streak for Rollins. Chad needs his long hair back. He looks too preppy with his short hair. All right.
He does. He does look a little bit. I know what they're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, he does look a little bit preppy. Chad Gable looks like a boy, says Jody Mania. I think you're mean. I'm guessing she means a little boy and not like a man's man. But yeah, you should probably get the long hair back for sure. All right, folks. You know what it is? It's Wednesday. It's Speez of the Benchmark Show, and every Wednesday we do it. We present to you the top 5 wrestlers of the week, and usually it's Silky Baines sitting in the chair next to me. But since we have the doc coming all the way,
we found a new black person this week, folks.
We found a new black person to present this week's Benchmark Power Rankings. Here we go.
I'm Aunt Vivian.
The Benchmark Power Rankings for the week of August 18th, 2019. Top 5 wrestlers of the week brought to you this week by Dr. Huge. So Dr. Huge went through the trouble to put together his top 5. And I told you this before, Doc, not a lot of pressure here on the power rankings because everybody shits on Silky's power rankings.
Oh, my power rankings are amazing.
Yeah, of course they are. So they're going to be great.
I don't care what anybody thinks.
yeah, Doc doesn't give a shit, so he's going to go with it anyway. Hope Speez doesn't forget the numbers on this. Says, stop it, Brian.
All right? Go like 3, 5, 1 or something?
No, definitely not. All right, here we go, folks. Kicking off this week's Benchmark Power Rankings with the Doctor at number 5. We got a number 5, Doc.
Oh, number 5. Shinsuke Nakamura WW title. That's right. That's what he's going to be going for soon because he is now Sami Zayn, who blocked me on Twitter. But that's okay. I like him again because, you know why, Speez?
Why is that?
Hit me with that number 4.
Okay.
Are we going to do it? Let's do it quick.
Because number 4.
Because it's Sami Zayn, folks. Look at him. He is the artist also, but he's a manager as well. So that's why you got Shinsuke Nakamura cracking the rankings, IC champion, beating Miz up this week. It was all beautiful. It actually put Sami Zayn over for me.
Hold on.
If you remember that, you 12-year-olds, and there you go. It's a perfect pairing, I think.
Well, there you go. I think you get the tables for the bits there. And again,
sorry. I might have ruined your whole listing, how you did it.
No, of course not. Look, we had Kyle King on a couple weeks ago, and he started with number 100. And thankfully, he jumped into number 5 there, but he just wanted to bury Seth Rollins for being a turd. So he put him at number 1.
Good for him. I like that guy already.
All right, so we got Shins coming in at number 5, Sami Zayn coming in at number 4 this week on the Benchmark Power Rankings. On to number 3, Doc.
Number 3, the best in the world. I mean, he didn't even have to perform this week. He came in, he listened to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens learned from Shane McMahon. Not only did he learn from the best in the world, he went home, he saw his family. He's like, you know what? The best in the world's right. If I go back with my tail between my legs, like a little bitch ass, not like Stone Cold would have done, like a little bitch ass, that blocks Dr. Huge as well on Twitter. I will go and see Shane McMahon backstage, and I'm just going to cower to him. And then he even tried to shake his hand, like, oh, that's so brutal if you're a Kevin Owens fan. And Shane McMahon was like, I'm not ready for this. And then on top of it, he has him lose the match. And technically, he did go 1, 2, 3. It just happened to be a little quick. Maybe he was excited. I don't know.
Excited.
But Elias moves on. Kevin Owens does not. And I think that's kind of what Shane McMahon wanted. Maybe not. Maybe he was just trying to help out. That other ref was probably having a hard time.
Normally I would call this a troll move because somebody's putting Shane McMahon in the top 5 on my show. But the fact, and if you guys tune in to the doc at Dr. Huge Show on Twitter, here on Twitch, everywhere else.
Hell yeah!
Thank you very much for the follow there, Cray. 550 blah 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 number. Appreciate that. Doc doesn't troll anybody because he's just like, I don't give a shit what you guys say. I'm putting who I want anyway. So I can't hate on the move because this is just a Dr. Huge thing. If he thinks Shane belongs in the top 5, he's going to put him in the top 5. He's not going to fuck with me to do it. So Shane McMahon comes in at number 3 this week, and I will live with it. Moving on to number 2, Doc.
Randy Orton. Oh, the Viper. He is just like all of you. He is just like America. He is
Randy Orton. You have to say it like Jinder Mahal. You just have to.
He's he's going to have a stable now. How do you beat that? Randy Orton is now at the point in his career, folks, where he's got a stable. And the stable it's starting with the Revival. Hopefully it turns into a stable, a 3-piece or some kind of thing like that. Who knows how long this will last? It's wrestling. But right now, I mean, he's on fire. He's going after the main title against Kofi Kingston, getting that win back, and he thinks Kofi can't beat him. What do you think, Speez?
Well, we were talking about this before the show where, again, I kind of figured that SummerSlam would be the end of this particular rivalry, and it was going to be one of those things where, oh, yeah, you get Randy Orton to come in. Either he wins it, which you can't really complain about Randy Orton beating somebody for a title because he's a fucking legend, or Kofi beats him, and it's another great win for Kofi. So the fact that they're keeping this going, you said before the show you thought the only reason to keep this going was if you're going to put the title on Orton.
Doesn't make any sense otherwise.
So you think that's the guy Kofi's going to lose to?
Yes, overall. I could see him losing in the next pay-per-view to Orton, and then it prolongs, and he gets a rematch or something that goes on to like SummerSlam or maybe the pay-per-view in between, and loses again. Because, like I said, he's come full circle. He won the first match. That's really all anybody cares about. It was at SummerSlam, which is basically WrestleMania Part 2 with the whole weekend and everything. So they got that out of the way. There's really nothing else to do with Kofi Kingston except play the rest of this out. And a lot of the times they have the baby faces lose, so it upsets the crowd and all that. But whatever, it's going to be Randy Orton. Are you upset with Randy Orton having the WWE title? He's had it plenty of times.
Exactly. It's fun to see the how people's views of the power rankings evolve as we get further. You got 3 consecutive comments from Alistair Fiend. Fuck that. Oh, wait, I like Randy Orton. So you went from being angry at your rankings to, yeah, okay, I like Randy Orton. That's fine. So, and Alice, who is our resident Shane McMahon fan here in the chat, is very happy that he made the power rankings. So
she's clearly smart,
There you go. All right, but there can only be one, folks. The number 1 wrestler on this week's benchmark power rankings with the Doc. Number 1, here he is.
Put another shrimp on the barbie. It's Buddy Murphy.
What an awesome week for that guy.
He faced Roman Reigns Monday, and it was a banger. And people don't usually remember Raw matches. That was a good one. And then the next night, he beats, or is it the next week? I get all confused with all these. It's all the same show to me, but you know what I'm saying. And then, but this week, he beats Daniel Bryan. So, I mean, just that alone, he's having the greatest week ever. I mean, he is being called a cowardly liar and all the rest, but, consider the source.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not just beating Daniel Bryan. He's beating Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan's in the middle of one of the biggest storylines, regardless of how silly you might think it is, especially with fucking last night's ending to the show. We'll get to that here in a minute. The fact that Daniel Bryan is still as high up as he is storyline-wise on the card is pretty impressive. So that's an awesome win for Buddy Murphy. Yeah, totally agree with Buddy Murphy being number 1. That's awesome. Usually there is someone on the list from New Japan that I've never heard of on the list, says Bill. So.
Oh, that's why these lists suck. That's why, right? Because it's always like Kushida, Toshiba, Kawasaki.
And it's
Kawasaki's
usually,
are on here.
Yeah, and it's usually the guy that Silky has picked to win whatever fucking big match for New Japan is going on. So it's just total bullshit that he ends up on there anyway. Buddy Murphy has, this is kayfabe, says Kyle King. Buddy Murphy has refused to tell the truth 2 weeks in a row. But he puts on great matches, so we overlook it. Sad, says Kyle King. Well, he can be a liar and still be a winner, so that's okay. I agree with you, Jody. Buddy Murphy is impressive. All right, folks, there you have it. The top 5 wrestlers of the week, according to the doctor. August 18th, 2019, the week of. Doc, let's recap it for everybody who's joining us late, starting off with number 5.
Shinsuke Nakamura, WWE title. Sami Zayn, who blocked me on Twitter. Shane McMahon, the best in the world. You know who it is.
Jesus.
Randy Orton, the Viper, soon to be WWE champion. And Buddy Murphy.
There you have it, folks. The Benchmark Power Rankings brought to you by the Doctor for the week of August 19th, 2019. If you want to get on the phone lines and talk to the Doc, 832-937-4559 is the number to get in. You see the Tampa Bay XFL team is called the Vipers.
I do. I like that. That's a good one. The Dragons are a good one. People were poo-pooing these names earlier. I don't like it. I'm telling everybody, when I know a good thing like Shinsuke and Sami Zayn teaming up together, as soon as I seen them come in the ring together, the way they were talking, they were giving us like the prelude to what the gimmick is going to be and all this. Like, this is going to be amazing. And the same thing with the XFL coming back after 20 years. This is going to be good this time. I'm telling you, the AAF didn't work out. This ain't going to be the AAF, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm not saying any of these names are stupid. Well, there's a couple, but the Vipers are cool.
The logos are shitty for the most part. I'm actually pretty excited about the Roughneck logo because that's one of the ones that looks decent. Most of them are pretty shitty. But Kyle King says, there's no way Huge has a PhD. I want to see this man's credentials.
I do.
Fucking hot dog is right there. What else do you need to see? Stop it.
You know what? When I first started doing the show and I was talking with the Sleeves, I'm like, you know what? People are gonna always say this. So I'm gonna have to get a wall and take down the green screen sometimes and just put up the PhDs in the background.
That's right. You gotta flash the paperwork now.
Mm-hmm. I literally have dozens of them, PhD in DDTs and all this stuff.
Yeah, I think the XFL, I think it irks Vince McMahon. It has to fucking irk Vince McMahon so bad that the XFL was such a turd the first time around. Like, to me, that's the only reason to bring it back. He's got enough fucking money. I think it's just the fact that he tried something and it was such a huge bomb that he has to fix that. And so he's back to do it again. I think they're going to get it right this time. I'm with you.
And it bombed in a way that he could see how it could work. And there was a few things that he just didn't do right. One of the things being going on at Saturday night on NBC. You know, that's like biting off a little more than you can chew, but.
Yeah. And dude, one thing I'm horrible at is trying to predict what shows are going to be good. Like, I still remember this to this day when the idea for Dancing with the Stars came out. I told my wife, I said, this is the
terrible
dumbest fucking idea for a show. Like, fucking D-list celebrities are going to ballroom dance with people, and it's going to be like a contest. Who the fuck is going to watch this show? And it's been on forever, and everybody loves that show. Like,
it's crazy stuff.
I don't get it. I would say I don't get the kids these days, but I was a fucking kid when that show came out, and I thought it would be terrible, and it's awesome. So I have no idea. Can already tell Dallas is going to fail since they're playing in a soon-to-be ex-baseball field, says Brian. Okay. It's. I think it'll be fun. 2
Texas teams. 2 out of the 8 are in Texas. That's something. That says something about they love their football down there. Vince McMahon knows it. It just gives you a little insight on like what his thinking is just by doing that alone. Because I don't think this is gonna fail. I don't think if Vince McMahon doesn't fail often. I don't think XFL before would have failed. It's just it needed to be tweaked in a certain way.
Yeah.
But.
Well, and he went with NFL markets, and he went with pretty big NFL markets. I think it's got a shot. It's certainly got a hell of a better shot than it did the first time around. Yeah. So, all right, we've gotten into King of the Ring. We talked a little bit about Shane McMahon still being in the mix. And we were going to talk about something else, and I've lost my train of thought now because I can't figure out what the hell I was going to talk to you about. Oh, let's talk about NXT moving to Wednesday nights. We chatted about that a little bit earlier. People are already saying that it's going to go to shit when it goes onto USA because Vince is going to have a bigger hand in it, blah, 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 and he screws everything up and so on and so forth. We talk about it on this show a lot about how Vince gets all the blame when things are shitty and none of the credit when things go right. How big of a change do you think this is going to be for NXT? Going from 1 to 2 hours, number one, and being a live show, number two. Is it going to lose some of its? I mean, what's your take? How do you see it playing out? You think it's going to suffer, or you think it'll still be something that the marks are digging?
I think they're ready for it. NXT is a brand and everything. They've been now going strong for, several years now. So I think that it's time that they can start. I don't even know if they're going to tour. They may even stay put. Are they staying put in Full Sail to do this?
I'm not entirely sure. I think they are going to do the occasional tour, but I think the majority of it is still going to be in Full Sail, if I'm not mistaken.
Because, it's going to be fine. I've been asking for a 2-hour NXT for a long time. Many people have, just for the network. So by bringing it and putting it on TV, now you're just going to hit a whole... Because there are some people out here that are just Monday night TV watchers, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, so on and so forth. So they're going to come across this on a Wednesday night, and some kids or whatever, and they're going to go, oh, my God, I've never seen this before, or even considered watching wrestling, that are going to get into it. So just from that alone, and them already getting paid $50 million, it worked. That's what I think about it,
For sure.
For WWE, totally worked already. There is no downside to this, and they get to screw over their competition,
exactly.
On top of it, and go on 2 weeks early, whatever it is. That's like, they're trying their best to bury AEW before they even start. And we all find it funny. There is going to be some kind of competition. The thing is, I wouldn't get that into it, and I think AEW is pulling away the last minute because they're starting to realize our competition's NXT. It's not SmackDown Live. It's not Raw. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to really compare ourselves to these guys and then have Seth Rollins tweet us go, ha, I got more money than you,
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I'm trying to put you back full screen here because, it doesn't want to do it. And that's just the way the shit's going tonight. It's just one of those things. What's going on, Skype? Why can't I make the fucking side fucking thing disappear and go back full screen to the doctor here? Son of a bitch. Anyway, Jeffrey Cross reminded me we were going to talk about that shitty ending to SmackDown Live. And I'm going to let you talk about that for a minute while I figure this shit out. What the fuck was that with the two Eric Rowans? What kind of shit is that?
Yeah, well, at first, I was like, is this his uncle? Or did they just find a body double? Or is it Oney Lorcan's dad? He looked exactly like Oney Lorcan in 40 years or whatever. But yeah, it was terrible. We all were hoping it was going to be a wrestler or somebody in the business somewhere that we knew backstage. It was nothing. It's wait until next week. And now we're going to have to find out who this guy is. He's clearly not a wrestler. So what do we have? Just an actor? That sucks. We don't want that.
Well, and some people were saying it looked like Luke Harper with his head shaved.
You know what? Was that Luke Harper? I don't know. And then they dyed his beard?
That was the first thing I thought when I saw the picture of it. And then as I looked closer, I was like, that can't be Luke Harper with his head shaved.
Yeah, you're probably right. Can't be.
But yeah, what? I don't even know.
Luke Harper. And they dyed his beard orange.
Yeah.
Basically.
It looked just like Wesley Blake, says Brian. It does not. That was Eric Rowan's twin brother, says Alice.
No, he is still out here. Luke Harper, that is a good one.
A couple of people have said it looked like Wesley Blake of the Forgotten Bros. The Forgotten Brothers.
Who's the Forgotten Brothers?
No, the Forgotten Sons over on NXT.
Oh, yep.
Because Wesley Blake's still in NXT, even though Buddy Murphy's over doing excellent shit now.
Which one dates Alexa Bliss, or was dating? I don't keep up with that.
I believe it was Buddy Murphy.
It was Buddy Murphy, yeah, because he's a superstar.
That's right. Yeah. And now, is Ty Dillinger still with Peyton Royce? Because Peyton Royce is my girl. Peyton Royce is amazing. And
didn't they get married?
Did they? Shit. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
You're out. You're going to like to know about this. I got a Queen of the Ring starting up Monday.
Okay, then.
Throwing polls out there, and it's all about looks. It has nothing to do with wrestling.
You're all about throwing poll. You already got the bracket set up in the whole night? Is this just WWE, or did you put your girl Tessa in there as well?
No, Tessa's going to be in there. I like them all.
Yeah.
But I had to break it down and try to make some kind of sense out of it,
Right on. So, okay, so I know Alexa Bliss is in it because you have the, who's the bubble butt correspondent over on the Dr. Huge show nowadays?
The bubble? Oh, the biscuit butt.
Biscuit butt.
That's Greg.
That's Greg, okay.
Biscuit butt correspondent.
That's right. So I figure Alexa Bliss has got to be in it. Okay, so hit us up. Now you got me intrigued.
Alexa versus Mandy's the first round. That's a first rounder right there. So
Alexa,
that's going to be a tough one.
All right, folks, let's get some votes going in the chat right now. And you can follow Dr. Huge on Twitter at Dr. Huge Show. I imagine that these are going to be Twitter polls as the week goes along.
Yeah, I'm going to start them up Monday and Tuesday. Just like the King of the Ring.
Right
but
on.
all about hot chicks. Who's the hotter chick? Here's a good one for you. Chelsea Green versus Tennille Dashwood. They both dated Zack Ryder. Ryder. Who's hotter out of those two?
Speaking of great collections of shit, we were talking about my pop collection back here and how the Doc's going to get back into his. Have you seen Zack Ryder's pop figure collection? Yeah. He was in the fucking movie that they did about pop figures on Netflix. They had a section on there about Zack Ryder and his collection.
That's too much. That's hoarding at that point.
It really is. It's insane. A dude from Kirk Hammett from Metallica, their guitar player, he's another one. He has like a fucking toy shop in Hawaii or something like that.
That's right. A lot of rockers are like that. Who the guy from Skid Row? Who's the lead singer there?
Oh, Sebastian Bach.
Sebastian Bach.
Give me the hell yeah!
He even has what's his name's blood that he spit out in a cup in his fridge.
That's fucking weird. God, those guys are fucking weird, dude. So I remember Sebastian Bach was on an episode of like Maury Povich or some shit like that where they were talking about smoking weed and legalizing weed. And this was like 10, 15 years ago. So like Skid Row still didn't matter, but it was like pretty soon after they didn't matter. And he was talking about how he would, there was somebody on the show that would blow marijuana smoke into their newborn baby's face to get the baby to fall asleep. And even Sebastian Bach was like, that's kind of fucked up, man. Yeah, he was crazy. Is Bach back with Skid Row? I don't know if is Skid Row back together now.
Probably, they do the rounds like that every 10 years.
There was just a show that came through Houston that was like the like some summer party show, and it was like every 90s rapper that I dug growing up. He was like Hammer and Kid and Play and Sir Mix-a-Lot. And like it was all these fucking guys, and I didn't hear about it until the night it was here, so I didn't get tickets. I was like, how did I miss that show? But Skid Row's going to show up on that tour with fucking Winger and, all those fucking guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Tennille Dashwood against Chelsea Green. I'm seeing Tennille all the way from Jeffrey Cross. Chelsea says Jody Mania. Mr. AEW's got Alexa and Chelsea.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a close bracket because I got some tough matchups right in the first round.
That's a tough one right there. I'll tell you what, dude. I said hello to Tennille a couple times in person. I saw her at the Ring of Honor show, and I saw her at WrestleMania weekend. That woman is absolutely stunningly gorgeous. I mean, it's like I don't get intimidated by being around hot women. I just
sweating.
I just don't. But there was something about her. It was like, my God, this woman is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's her ass and face. Like there's something about it's the, what do you think it is?
Oh, Mr. WWE. Sorry, there's a Mr. AEW and a Mr. WWE in the chat, and I'm getting them mixed up here.
Fight each other, fight forever.
Exactly, fight forever. Okay, so who else in your first round?
Here's another weird one. Paige versus Kairi Sane.
Ooh.
Kairi Sane is on the list in the bracket.
That's an intriguing one. Paige versus Kairi Sane. Paige is just she's just kind of dirty, man. Like I can't. I'd have to go with Kairi Sane.
Is that good or bad? I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, generally speaking, I think it's kind of a good thing. But in Paige's case, I'd have to go with Kairi Sane there.
Yeah, she might be. It's an upset, I would say, but I think.
You think Kairi Sane would be an upset?
On your side.
Yeah, people still love Paige. I don't know.
I actually wrote the whole thing out the other day.
Juanito says Paige being dirty is a great thing. So.
See? Well, so he would go the other way, I guess. How about this one? Peyton Royce, your favorite. This is going to hurt you now. This is another tough first round matchup up against Lacey Evans.
Oh, man, that is tough because I love me some Lacey Evans too, dude.
Mm-hmm. So these polls are going to make you think this week.
I gotta go with my girl Peyton, but man, it's painful.
Wow, you're getting rid of Lacey Evans in the first round.
It's painful to do that, man. She's amazing.
All right, here's a little maybe easier because it's they're a little different, but Carmella, and Dana Brooke.
Now, Dana Brooke is Black Man's kryptonite, as Silky Baines will tell you, because she's got the thick with the double C at the end going on.
That's right.
I know Silky's going Dana Brooke without question. I would go with Carmella in this one. Let's see here. I'm going to get caught up in the chat here. Mr. WWE says Lacey. So easy. Lacey's
That's me too. And I like Peyton Royce
Lacey
too,
would
but
win. Bill says, Doc, these are tough rounds.
they are.
Alice has got Paige over Kairi Sane. Jeffrey Cross has got Lacey. Let's see. Mr. WWE says Mella, as does Alice, as does Truth and Loyalty, as does Jeffrey Cross, as does Alistair. It's a landslide for Carmella.
She could route her, but it depends on who's voting. That's what's going to make this a little interesting. Then we got Tony Storm versus Lana.
Doc,
that's tougher than you think.
I'm very impressed with this bracket you got going here, Doc.
I clearly thought about this.
There's a lot of time and effort that went into this, so that's pretty awesome. Oh my goodness.
I have two more. I might as well tell you. Tessa versus Kelly Klein, and that was more from Hansy, because they're two muscle girls, and I'm starting to figure out that he likes muscly girls.
Hansy is a handful. That guy's hilarious.
Yeah, so I think, and they both in the kind of you can call it an independent scene, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Naomi and the Boss.
Ooh, Naomi and the Boss. All right then.
That basically wraps it up for the first round, so you'll see that soon.
Fucking Tony Storm, what the fuck was that? Sad excuse for nudes, says Mr. WWE. Stop it. It's a sad excuse.
Yeah, by their standards, definitely sad.
Jesus. Well, it's split 50-50 on the Boss and Naomi.
I'm telling you, it's going to be something. Whoever wins this whole thing that's going to be amazing for them.
That's going to be pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be an impressive win. Okay, so give it to us one more time. You got 16 in the first round. Am I hearing that right?
That's right. It's a real bracket.
Shit. All right, so give us the 16 one more time. You don't have to break it down by match, but give us the 16 who are in it.
Bliss versus Rose. Naomi versus Boss. That's one bracket.
Okay.
Tessa, Kelly Klein, Tony Storm and Lana. It's another. Tenille Dashwood and Chelsea Green. This is on the other side now.
Right.
Royce and Evans.
Okay.
That's another one. And then the last one is Dana Brooke, Carmella, Kairi Sane, and Paige.
Man.
I mean, you can always interchange them. I'm sure I'm leaving some super hot chicks out.
Mr. AW says Scarlett Bordeaux from, she's not with Impact anymore. I
could have thrown her in there. I had enough blondes. When I looked at it, there's a decent amount of blonde. 1, 2, 3, 4 on just one page. And the other page, I know there's probably another 4.
I hear you. That's going to be impressive stuff. See, this is the kind of stuff that you folks are going to get if you tune in to the Dr. Huge show. Right. You're not just going to get stuff like this. You also get fantastic visits from our boy the Sleaze, who absolutely cracks me up. And Y2 Just Incredible without the E is going to talk about pooping his pants and getting drunk all over town. And
in his bed in the middle of the show. He does it all.
And his little karaoke microphone that he uses.
Yeah, that's what you get, karaoke mic. Kids karaoke mic that he uses.
Here terrible. We are talking about the financial commitment that it takes to do this shit. And Y2 Just Incredible without the E sits on his bed with his phone camera and a fucking microphone that I swear comes straight out of a 9-year-old girl's karaoke machine.
You like his set though, right? With Friends, the picture of the TV
awesome.
show Friends behind him. You like that?
So unprofessional. In PJs, says Alistair Fiend, no less.
He'll wear a business top sometimes and you'll still see the PJs. You'll see the knee stick up and you're it's like Harry Potter PJs. What are you doing?
That's awesome.
You're on a professional broadcast.
That's right. So unprofessional. So
imagine if I stood up and I had Walking Dead pajamas on. It looked like an asshole on here.
Oh, this guy absolutely kills me. Justin is great. And is Lit Mantis still coming on Fridays as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, I stepped away from that just
That's
because of
right.
the schedule change.
That's
That's
right.
why I've been doing things differently. I've been sticking with the Monday and Tuesday shows, doing the gaming when I can, but I'll be definitely coming back with, checking out AEW and NXT, doing some pre-shows for those. SmackDown when it moves to Friday, and who knows? Probably he could be a co-host for the Friday shows, because my main podcast is going to end up being Monday Night Raw pre-show with the Sleaze and Justin, and either AEW or NXT. So that's what it's going to turn into.
Right
But
on.
it's sometimes we don't even talk about the shows.
Yeah, exactly.
It just depends on what we want to do.
Pretty much. Well, Doc, I can't thank you enough for coming on, man. And once again, if you're just now joining us, those of you who are regulars on our show, this guy launching careers of people left and right. We are always very grateful to the Doc. Shares all of our shit over on Twitter. Had me on the show very early on, and I know a lot of you learned about our show from Dr. Huge. So, man, anytime you want to come on here, brother, you're always welcome. I always appreciate it. And at Dr. Huge Show on Twitter, Twitch, any other social media or streaming platform that you can think of, he will be there. So, Doc, thank you very much for being here, man. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much for having me again. Thanks for the kind words, and shout out to everybody out there in the Speezenverse and the Hugenverse and all over the place, and all the wrestling fans and stuff. You know where to find me at patreon.com/Dr. Huge Show. Check that out. I'm trying to put exclusive stuff on there. So if you want to support, same with, Speez, like I said before when we started this, this takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of times. Not a lot of people that do it as hard as we do it. So, definitely support both of us if you can.
Most
and
definitely.
Thank you.
You are very welcome, sir, anytime. And thanks to all of you guys for being here with us as well. We are back on Monday night, immediately following Monday Night Raw. So for Dr. Huge, Chris Speezak here, thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you Monday night after Raw right here on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. Good night, everybody.